Welcome to the Almedalen Political Week again. And today's guest is Björn Bergstrand. He's the head of sustainability and media relations in Kommuninvest. And today's talk is going to be related to green finance. And Björn, I see you frequently here in London, and you going to meetings with the financing sector and the people here who works with the green bonds mostly, and also sometimes also the London Stock Exchange. Why it's interest to go to London so often?
Well, I mean, London is obviously one of the main financial hubs for global capital market participants, and Kommuninvest is active since way back in arranging bond financing on capital markets. Many of our bank contacts are located in London, so it's a natural place for us to come and visit both the bank contacts and investors. That is true also for green finance. London is evolving into one of the centers or hubs also for green finance. So that's the main rationale, to maintain contact with bank counterparties and investor counterparties based in the UK.
Yeah. You named earlier in our talk about Paris, and Paris is a leader on climate change and related to the climate summit in Paris. Is that something that is getting more hot?
I think so. Paris is along with London and Stockholm and a couple of other cities, one of the main hubs for green finance today, I would say. And that's partly because the Paris Agreement came to fruition in Paris, but also because a number of important legislative initiatives have taken place in France. I'm thinking about the Article 173, for instance. A number of internationally recognized banks active in green finance are based in Paris. So Paris along London is probably the two places in Europe where green finance is most active today.
So why are there such a high interest from international actors in the financing sector to look into Sweden?
Well, I think Sweden has for a long time taken the environmental issues seriously. Sweden hosted the world's first United Nations conference on the environment back in 1972. As a nation, we are now taking ambitious steps towards reducing our climate impact. Sweden has the aim of being among the world's first fossil-free welfare nations by 2045. So a lot of activity is taking place in Sweden with regards to meeting the climate challenges that we face as a nation and as a planet. And as a result, Swedish capital market participants, including banks and investors, have early on caught on to the green fever, if I call it that. Swedish institutional investors, including the AP funds and banks, were behind the world's first green bond issued by the World Bank in 2008, and has moved on rapidly since then. Sweden is today the country in the world where green finance enjoys the highest participation out of bond origination worldwide. So it's green finance is becoming something which is almost mainstream in certain sectors in Sweden today.
And new members are the municipalities, and we have been talking about the role of the cities and municipalities earlier in this video interviews, and more than 90% of your members coming from the municipalities all around Sweden. What do you find out when you talk with the municipalities? Is it an increased interest to look into green finance and the support from you?
I think we find a couple of things. First of all is an appreciation for the fact that there is now a financial product in the form of green loans that can support and put the spotlight on their green investment activities. So that is something they are very grateful for. Also for the fact that green financing is more cost advantageous, i.e. cheaper than traditional forms of finance. But the second point, and perhaps the most important point, is the fact that green finance contributes to advancing the green ambitions within the local government sector. I.e., once you've entered into a green finance space, quite quickly the discussion turns to how can we make these green investment projects even better, even greener. And that is a discussion that is increasing in pace amongst the local governments. That is something we see, not amongst all of them naturally, but certainly quite a few are increasing their ambitions in the green investment field as a result of being more active on the green finance side.
Mm. You did just some short time ago an updated of the forecast of demands from your members, and it's in the level of $9 to $11 billion US. How many percent is green bonds of this demands?
Well, it's still too little in our view. We currently fund approximately 5% of our overall funding is through green bonds. Some 6% of the loan book is green, and that is a ratio which we are quite satisfied with, having started just a couple of years ago. But we think that the potential is much larger. The actual green investments being undertaken by the local governments are larger than that. The issue is to engage all our clients to finance their green investment project with green loan. We think it's green loans. We think they're a useful tool to support the sustainability efforts in the local governments and try to stimulate all our members to have as many of their green investment projects as possible financed via green loans.
I see. Well, let's see what's up in Almedalen this week for you on Kommuninvest. What's happening?
Well, there are a range of activities here in Almedalen. As you know, Kommuninvest has held a couple of seminars talking not so much about green, but overall about the importance of maintaining strong local government finances in the face of increasing challenges from a growing population, amongst other things. We've also held arenas for young politicians to engage with important topics of the day. Personally, I've been engaged in both green bond panels, but also social bond panels. So that is quite a theme here, I would say, both green financing, but increasingly also trying to highlight the social challenges in society through new innovative financing mechanisms.
So the interest in the social development goals, SDGs, is increasingly on the agenda?
Definitely so. That's very much at the top of the discussion here. So there are probably 4,000 events here. Sustainability is the most popular type of event here in Almedalen. So that's something we support, obviously. And as we've already pointed out, there's an increasing focus on social and sustainability and the overall Agenda 2030 goals, SDGs.
Oh, you talk about panels and you talk about the audience. Who are there? Is it the bank and financing sector well represented in the meetings?
I guess when you come to Almedalen, you get a bit of everything. It's a very open forum. Everybody can participate, essentially. So you get both the political sphere, the corporate sphere, the banking sphere, the NGOs, and the general public. So it's an event that is open to all, essentially, and that engages all parts of the Swedish society and also outside of Sweden.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the numbers of people going to 4,000 events in 1 week. It's difficult to attend to all of them. So you have to select, I understand. And
yeah, it's hard. It's hard work.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, hope to see you again in London, and I think the finance on green investment will be on the top of the agenda for many municipalities and also for Kommuninvest work international. Thank you, Björn, for you take part of this interview, and go out and mingle in around the 45,000 people which visiting the Almedalen Political Week this week.
I'll do my best, and thank you very much, Kai, for inviting me to this interview.
Thank you very much. Bye for now.
Greetings from Visby. Bye for now.